You're on.
Okay, good morning everybody and welcome to our beautiful Namaste Center. And it is very exciting for me to be here today because I'm just surrounded by beautiful souls like each and every one of you here today. The music, and the beauty of the space. It's just, my heart is so open and filled with gratitude, and all of you all were a part of it in some way, and much gratitude to you, so thank you for that. And I felt like it was an appropriate day. You know, we've all been under, this happened so fast. You know, here we are, you know, be careful what you pray for because the universe will give it to you. Well, this happened a little quicker than I had expected, and I'm not complaining. I'm filled with gratitude, but it all of a sudden was like, wow, we got this cool space, and wow, we got to fix it up, and all the angels came forth to help us make this happen and create it, and here we are. It's amazing. And you know, those of us that were here working together, you know, it was a labor of love. It was an opportunity for us to get to know each other better and to share stories and music and laugh. And I wish I would have had the camera yesterday because the Three Stooges over here putting together some shelves, I won't mention their names, priceless. I mean, I heard that hammer and it was just adorable. And but they did it, so then it was great. And so, you know, here we are. It's fantastic. And you know, a lot of this, here we are at a spiritual center, and we come in and we come to feel good, we come to commune and get to know each other, and we come to laugh and to share our victories and our challenges. And you know, we're all coming here, I think, for the same reason, and we may express it in a lot of different ways, but ultimately we're coming here to heal. And I think that we all need to recognize that and honor that in each other, ourselves and each other. I know for myself, it's when I get stressed and tired, I get cranky. And so it's wonderful to be able to have a community that supports me in this, and vice versa. You know, here we are, we're all getting excited and anxious, and then all of a sudden it's like, you know, one little trigger is like what sends us off. What is that anyway? You know, it's like all's going really good, and then what's that little trigger? And I'll tell you what that trigger is. It's growth, and it's a good thing. And you know, it's all good if we allow it to be so, and if we allow the process to happen. I know a few. I'll give you an example without being too detailed because it's really not fair to the parties, but it's a great story. And there's been an issue for about 6 months. It's been so up and down. It's been like, wow, this is great. Oh, not so great. Oh, great. You know, and it's just been, and so finally, I just said one day, I choose to unplug from that drama. You know, it's kind of like, this is enough drama, I'm done with this. But there still were some loose ends that needed to be dealt with. So I sent an email expressing some things that needed to be said. And as I was sending this email, Ellen was sending Reiki as I'm sending it. So she's Reiki in my computer. And I said, and I prayed over it, and I said, Dear God, may this be received in the spirit that it's sent, and only in love. Well, I pushed the send button, and gratefully, the response was much calmed down. And I say this because it always is a choice. You know, we're always, you know, we wouldn't be here if we didn't have things that were coming up to be healed. You know, we're in a healing state. That's part of our experience here on planet Earth, is to heal. So when these things come up, we do have a choice of how we respond. I love what the Course says. Every moment we're either giving love or asking for love. So when you see someone who's acting insane, the Course says you can only heal the insanity of your brother by perceiving the sanity in him. And so it's a mutual exchange. We're all students, we're all teachers here. And sometimes we're the sane one and sometimes we're the insane one, but it's an exchange. if we recognize that, not judge ourselves, but just allow ourselves to recognize what it is and to choose healing over conflict. It's powerful. We can do this in every moment. And the good news is, if you screw up and you decide to stay in your stuff, oh well, it's okay. Because there's nothing we can do to change our nature, which is only love. We can sit there and stay in this drama, this whirlwind, as long as we want, or we can just step back and say, okay, I've had enough of that one. I had to stay in one particular drama for longer than I probably would have liked, but I guess there was a meaning and a purpose in it, and so I recognize it. Now I actually look back and laugh at it. But it's all up to us to recognize those hot buttons in ourselves and others, because in truth, there is no mistake what occurs in every moment. There's no mistake. Every encounter, as A Course in Miracles says, remember, every encounter is a holy encounter, for in that person you will either find yourself or lose yourself. And what that's saying is, if I go into the drama, then I'm losing myself. But if I allow myself to step back, pause, take a breath, and then feel it, and choose the higher perspective, the one of love. The Course in Miracles also says that the ego speaks first and speaks loudest. The ego cannot wait to just get, what's the ego want to do but keep us asleep, keep us stuck, keep us mad, keep our mind spinning. Spirit wants to heal, but we have to be the ones to choose love over fear, spirit over ego. And it's about training ourselves to plug into that mind of spirit or love rather than that of fear and conflict. So speaking of drama, there's been a lot of drama in the news for the past 50 years. But something I found interesting was just, I read something that Desmond Tutu had quoted about Nelson Mandela. Now here's one of the most, Nelson Mandela and Tutu, I love Desmond Tutu as well, but Mandela, one of the holiest men, I think we could all agree. He brought a great degree of healing and light and love to our planet, and here he is on life support. He's on his deathbed. His family's been surrounding him, and yet there is a major conflict going on amongst his family about some of the remains of his grandchildren, where they were buried. And so that's where they're all together, and rather than choosing to honor their sacred, the sacredness of their grandfather's transition, it's like all this battle. And I don't bring this up to condemn or judge at all, but it's, as Tutu says, he just said it pretty directly, because, if you've read any of his quotes, he's pretty direct, and he said, this family feud of the Mandela family is almost like spitting in his face. I think that's a little harsh, but, what is it? It's what makes this come up? And when does it come up and why? And I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. But it is, I think, about us, assuming responsibility, recognizing our part in this, and that we're all interacting in this dance. I will give you a suggestion, though. Okay, here we are. I read this. Could have Facebook, you see a lot of postings, blah, 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 blah. People are like immediately, those jerks, whatever. And, instead, their hearts are hurting, and that's how they're expressing it. That's all it is. And so it may seem insane, and it may even feel like he's getting his face spit on, but it's not that at all. Because if they were feeling loved and safe, that wouldn't have come up at all. So it really is a recognition, all attacks, all anger, all of this craziness is fear. And nothing more, nothing less. It's just fear. So how are we going to respond? A couple of quotes that I like to, especially that we see out there a lot. We don't see the world as it is. We see it as we are. And, another quote from A Course in Miracles says that it only takes one to heal a relationship, usually the saner of the two. And all we have to do is heal thyself. I've got a big enough job healing my stuff, much less everybody else's. But the greatest gift we can bring to the world, since we are all one, is the gift of forgiveness. And the gift of forgiveness means that I'm choosing to, rather than react, to take that breath and pause and send love. Now, do I master that, or have I mastered that? No, but I've gotten better. But I'll tell you something even funnier. I was thinking about this as I was writing it, and you know, when I got into the Course in Miracles almost 30 years ago, I was just on this path. I was in, what do they call it, on a pink cloud, and I was just happy and peaceful and reading my book. Nothing fazed me. I was like, this is fantastic. And 28 years later, I've seen muck come up out of me that I didn't know existed. And I'm like, well, whoa, what happened? What was I doing different 25 years ago than I am now? And the thing is, I believe that I've opened myself up to go deeper into my healing and made a deeper commitment. So it's like, okay, Spirit's saying, okay, Shar, you've asked for it. You've committed to looking at the yucky stuff. You know, the pink paint, that stuff we took care of early on, but now let's get down to the dirty work. Because again, what are we doing here but to heal? We're here to wake up, to transcend all of our attachments and judgments and all of this pain that we have deeply buried within ourselves. So it's wonderful that we have this experience to commune here, to share, to attend classes and workshops, and even, as I said, the maintenance is an opportunity for us to get together. You know, it's all about healing our relationships, because ultimately there's only one of us here. I like another statement from A Course in Miracles that says, a teacher of God is generous out of self-interest. And what that's saying is, because it's not that I'm so nice and I'm so spiritual and holy, it means that I know that schmuck that cut me off on I-26, if I decide to flip the bird or the peace sign, that's a decision of choosing love or fear. And that if I'm holding a grievance towards anybody, that's a veil between my awakening and my connection with Spirit, or my awareness of Spirit. So it's always a choice. It's always recognizing that we're all in this together, that we're all teachers and we're all students, and we're all equal in this journey, on this journey. You know, we have a tendency, you know, again, you would have thought that the Mandela family would have transcended this. No, because they're a part of us. You know, we all carry this collective pain with us. So all I have to do every time I choose love over fear, everybody is affected by this. If I watch the news and instead of cursing and send condemnation, if I would allow myself to send blessing, then that's my role in the healing, the atonement. Now, a few things, as I said, another teacher that I really enjoy listening to is Ramtha. And Ramtha is just a great teacher of enlightened living. So you can bless that. And so Ramtha, there was a series that Ramtha had taught about the fact that we're addicted to our emotions. And just like anything else, you know, we have addictions. Well, emotions are part of the addiction. And so, you know, it's kind of like, well, that peace. I've had people throughout the years in A Course in Miracles say, well, peace is boring sometimes. Sometimes I like that. Well, you know, it's okay if you like it, but peace is, you know, peace is the goal. But, you know, at least we have the recognition that, yeah, I am addicted to this emotion or that emotion or what have you. But if we recognize, like anything else, that we're choosing the emotions that we allow to come forth. And they'll continue to rise up until we let go of them, until we forgive them. So they have to be cleared. So if we ask, sometimes the more we ask, the deeper and harder the lessons get. Now, a couple of things I do want to say, just as far as community and gathering. This is one of my favorite stories, and it's about again, what a great book that I read years and years ago, Newton Message Down Under. It's a fantastic book. And I saw the woman speak. Her name is Marla Morgan. She went as a socialite from Chicago, deciding she was going to go help the Aboriginal people, you know, become westernized. So as she gets off in her beautiful clothes, she's looking at them like, don't worry, I'm here to save you. And they're like, oh man, this woman needs us bad. You know, it's like, talk about the student and teacher relationship, you know. And she realized they were right. They were the right ones. But she was explaining, she went on, that's a beautiful story, but she goes on to say she went on walkabout with them, gave away all her, pearls and beautiful clothes and went out into the desert and took a walkabout, or the outback. And that she was, they would talk, and she would tell them about competition. And she was telling them about, and they're like, competition, explain that to us. And so she drew a line here in the sand, and she drew one here, and she said, okay, if 5 people start here, the first person to get across this wins. And they looked at her puzzled, she said, and said, well, how can that be fun? 4 people lose. And so their mindset was, if anybody loses, it can't be right. And so what a lesson that was for her, because our Western society is so based in competitive nature and winning and getting there first instead of cooperation and collaboration. So it is, we think upside down and backwards. We really do. So it's always a choice. Do we choose these emotions, which are all ego, or do we choose spirit, which is peace, neutrality, oneness? It's a moment-by-moment choice, and the good news is in one moment, if you choose conflict or the ego, the next moment, choose again. That's all. It's that simple. You can take that very big, thick book, and you can make it very simple. In this moment, who is my teacher, the ego or the Holy Spirit? Am I choosing peace or conflict, separation or oneness? It's really a moment-by-moment choice. So it's another great experience is, of course, the Ho'oponopono prayer, which is one where I'm just taking responsibility for the world I see. So it's, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And sometimes I'll have to say that, when I have my mind racing and attached my thoughts to something that's really irritating me, pause, I'm sorry, thank you, please forgive me, I love you. And just say that over and over, and then those other things just melt away. It's amazing how it works. Well, who was here for the Benjamin Bernstein? If you weren't here last time, I highly recommend coming back. He does these beautiful invocations. And I'd like it, it was a very powerful experience, I think, for the whole group. And so next time he comes, I would certainly welcome you to join us. But I want you to repeat after me this invocation he shared with us. And I'm going to say it in small portions, it's just a few sentences. And affirm this and feel this in your being because it is so powerful. And repeat after me. Spirit that I am. Spirit that I am. Please saturate me. Please saturate me. With the maximum amount of light. With the maximum amount of light. And divine consciousness. And divine consciousness. That serves the highest good. That serves the highest good. Right now. Right now. Thank you. Thank you. It's a great one to say. Just saturate me with that consciousness. So a friend of mine, I know some of you all may know Armand and Angelina. They're a great musical duo. One of their songs, it's a great song, Love is a Boomerang. You send it out and it comes right back. Well, I love that. And of course they have I'm sure they'll be back to do a concert again as well, and they're fabulous. But what a concept, see, love is a boomerang. You send it out and it comes right back. So does other stuff, by the way. So just a little reminder. And so in closing, I'd like to, this is a quote I just stumbled upon, which I think is very powerful. Miracles start to happen when you start to give as much energy to your dreams as you do your fears. And that was perfect with Terry's song. And I think that is a wonderful thing to ponder. And the last thing I'd like to share is a quote from Nelson Mandela that I think can hold true for each and every one of us. And he says, as I walked out the door towards the gate that would lead me to my freedom, I knew if I didn't leave my bitterness behind, I'd still be in prison. Namaste. Namaste.